Hi there, Floss Tube. It's Verbena, back for my second floss tube. I was really, quite honestly, a little startled and very, very pleased to see that some of you not only watched me rattle on last month for as long as I did, but also some of you subscribed, which I really, really appreciate that. And I had some really lovely comments, and I do appreciate those. So thank you everyone who watched last month and who has come back, and thank you to everybody who just found me and is tuning in for the first time. I do not have a lot this month because my life has not been as exciting as last month. I did not do any travel, at least not any, non-internet travel. And I have been trying to not start a bunch of stuff and bounce around. But you'll see how well that resolution actually happened in just a few moments. So I cannot remember what order I did things last month. So why don't we go ahead and we will revisit the works in progress that I have. So the only thing, so I finished the last time I remember I talked to you about the cat cactus pattern for a family member that we went and visited in Arizona. I wanted to make something for them as a thank you gift for hosting us and taking us around and showing us the sights. And so I did finish that, but I finished it maybe, I think 2 days after my last recording. I ran over to Michael's and bought a frame for it and got it shipped off because, of course, it had already been a week or so, and I wanted to get that off as quickly as I could. So I will insert a photograph of the finished object. It was 25 count. It was 1/1. And I think it was 1/1. I might have done 2/1 because it was super, super stuffed. The threads were so tight together. And I ended up with a grime around where the hoop was. And you can see that in the photograph. If you look kind of on the bottom left, you can kind of see that ring. And I tried to wash it up, but the fabric was old and it didn't seem to really want to cooperate. So there's that little problem, but I went ahead and I just shipped it off because I'm just like, I did it, and I'm not perfect. They know I'm not perfect. So hopefully they're enjoying it, or they've, put it in a closet with a little tag saying next time they visit, please remember to put this out. So, but it was enjoyable to stitch. It is a very cute pattern, and I'm glad I did it. I'm definitely glad I did it. So the next thing, right after I posted last time, I received my box from Stitchonomy. I had signed up for the Stitchonomy A Storybook Halloween Stitch Along, and I went ahead and ordered the deluxe kit, and I think the deluxe kit came with 14 count Aida, and I ended up deciding I didn't want to stitch on 14 count. So I have started my project, and they've released the frame at this point. By now they'll have released the first clue by the time this is posted, because we're like less than a day away. But they released the frame early so we could get going on the frame. So I have finished the frame. And because I got the deluxe kit, I got this really adorable needle minder, and I got the little bat thread keeper that is laser etched, and all the threads. So I'm gonna have, I can since I'm doing 28 instead of 14, I'm going to have enough threads to do another one if I really, really wanted to. But I had a fun time. For the first time, I have an iPad with an Apple Pencil, and because the chart is digital, I went ahead and I just, instead of going and printing it out and doing paper pattern juggle, I just put it in books on my iPad and used markup, and I had the nicest time. At some point, I'm going to have to come up with my own chart that I can actually share with you and show you just how easy it is, because since this one was all straight lines, not that cross stitch isn't all straight lines in the end, but because they're such distinct long, what I was able to do was I was able to take a line and just do the half cross all the way down. And if I had to go to bed at night, then I would just highlight on my chart on my iPad in yellow. And then the next day when I would come back and I would finish the cross, then I would go back and go over it in orange. So that way I knew this is where I'm half crossed. This is where I'm fully crossed. And that was super handy, especially since you can kind of see, it's not just a grid. There's long boxes or there are rectangles and there are squares. So that made it a lot easier for me to kind of keep track, because my demon is counting. I always did better with needlepoint printed canvases, because every time when I was younger I did cross stitch, I would lose the count. And at that stage in my life, I was more like, oh, it's wrong. I either have to rip it out or I'd abandon it. At this point in my life, like with that cat cactus one, it was just like, oh, it counted wrong. I can make this work. Cat's going to be a little fatter. We're just going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to get it done. We're going to enjoy it. We're not going to fuss, and we're not going to turn this into, one more moment in life to talk about in therapy because I didn't count my crosses wrong. Now I've got a much more open and secure and place from happiness that this is my hobby, and I don't need to be doing this if it stresses me out or makes me feel less of me. And my mistakes are embraced, and the ones that can't be fixed maybe need to be ripped out, but the ones that can be smudged, in the end, this is me. This is my project. And as I tell other people sometimes about their stuff, if anybody's that close and makes a comment, well, they're close enough to punch in the nose. So I am really enjoying the Stitchonomy project. I cannot wait until the next one. That takes us to my next, well, I guess it's not a whip, so maybe we will wait. The reason that I decided I did not want to stitch the Stitchonomy stitch along in 14 was because of my Tiny Modernist. After my bee cornu or my bees cornu, after I finished the cat cactus, remember 1/1, 25 count, I went back to this because I thought, okay, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna slam it out. It's nice bright colors. I love the fabric, and I couldn't do it. And this is a 2/, I think I'm doing 2/2 or 3/2. What is it here? We can look. We can actually look. It's a 3/2. And all I had to think, because it wasn't just, every hole, it was every other. And then add that to the fact that it's such a popcorny stitch. I think I maybe got 24 stitches in, and I just went, oh no. Oh, okay. I gotta set it down. This one needs to go away for a little bit, and I will come back to it later after I figure out why I am broken, when I was able to competently and happily stitch this while riding in an RV barreling down the highway as a passenger with no problem whatsoever. It's just plonk, 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 stitch, stitch, stitch. And now all of a sudden I'm on my couch and I can't function with the 2 over. And I thought, okay, so time to sit this one down and maybe ease back into this project a little later. And that's why when the Stitchonomy came and I looked at that 14 count and it was so big, and I think maybe I was having a little flashbacky thing, like, oh, maybe the problem is the big. I think the problem is the 2 over, not the big. But I'm also anticipating I'm not going to have a lot of wall space in the future as we downsize. So there's another reason not to do a really big thing, like, you know, smaller count, smaller the project, less wall space, cheaper framing. You know, I'm not gonna discount that as well. That I would rather spend my money on fabric than you know, really giant frames and glass. So this little guy went back in his box, and I moved on to a couple of other projects. So I have a fully finished, aside from my cat cactus. And that is this little guy. He is the zombie frog from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2021. And he was designed by Kathleen Burlew. And I did him on 28 count linen. It's the DMC Charles Craft. I think I got it at Joann's. It's 100% linen. It's their white you know, it's white. It's a little off-white, maybe oyster. They just had the B5 200 number on it. They didn't classify it as a color, but I just thought he was so adorable. And I went ahead and I didn't use the called for threads. I pulled the threads out of my stash that were close. And I loved him. I had him in a round hoop to work on him. And he was super adorable. And I had this picture of an oval frame. And then when it got down to he was done, and I named him Arthur. I think he kind of looks like an Arthur. And when I got down to that point, I thought, okay, well, if I do the oval frame, I can't do the trees around him. And I thought, well, maybe I just won't do the trees and I'll frame him. And I thought, no, the pattern is the trees, so I will do the trees. And in the end, because of that, I can't do the oval frame, which is fine because I couldn't find an oval frame that was the right size for him. I was picturing something that was maybe about 6 inches from top to bottom, and it's just not out there available for where I am. I looked on Amazon and everything's larger, like 9-inch. I went ahead and ordered one of those, and it came damaged, so sent it back. But I think I might do him again, and I might do him on black fabric in more electric, like neon colors, and not do those surrounding trees. He's cute. I'm not unhappy. I'm not mad. But I think he would be a lot more to my taste and a lot cuter without that little frame around him of the trees. So we might be seeing Arthur version 2 sometime soon. And then this little guy, I think if I've come across somebody who I think maybe needs a little cheering up, then he might get passed on to that person. So, and that's it for finishes. I feel like it's not much, but you know, it's been a month, but I've been cranking on a side project, and that doesn't involve stitching. Well, it's sort of involves the stitching, but it's not actual stitching. But I think honestly what I did was pretty significant. I have a fully finished object. I have that frame, which can't wait, as I said. And then I'm trying to figure out a way to say this and not be too down on myself. I am social network awkward. I've not had a Facebook for 15 years. I've had an Instagram account, and most, like, I look in it. I've never posted on it. I'm more, I don't know. I used to be on Ravelry, which is a knitting forum, and I was always more lurky, not very chatty. And I'm still on Ravelry. I actually should say that. I've not been active in a long, long time. I just slowly over the years. I'm hoping Instagram will be better for me, because I find sometimes I'm sarcastic, and sometimes I'm direct, and I take things to heart, and sometimes I think I'll jump into a conversation and I feel like I have a rapport with someone, and then I stress about how maybe they've interpreted my words instead of how I intended. You know, there's no tone on the internet. It's really difficult to read tone when you're just reading black and white words on a screen. And so I tend to feel very, very awkward and shy, because when I do participate, I feel like I have to second guess things. And since Instagram seems to be image based, then, you know, maybe I'll do a little bit better than with that. And I'm going to try to keep up with Instagram, because I'm having fun really, really trying to, look at people's stuff and getting ideas and just kind of enjoying the more social aspect of cross stitching that isn't just like, binge watching floss tubes for 6 hours a day. So when I was I was looking for the Stitchonomy Stitch Along tags, my brother is laughing at me because I keep I keep texting him and I'm like, insta stupid question. And then I will ask him a question about, how does this work? And then he'll answer me. He's like, yes, you understood that correctly. Or no, that is not how that works, because he is very, very good at Instagram. So when I was on Instagram looking for the Stitchonomy Stitch Along, so that way maybe I could post my picture, which I didn't. I found it. And then I had to ask my brother a question about how did tags work. And then by the time I got back to, I haven't gotten back to it since he clarified things. I found the Witchy Stitcher's Cryptid Stitch Along, because a lot of people who are doing the Stitchonomy Stitch Along are also doing the Witchy Stitcher Cryptid, and that one already started. And I saw pictures of that, and I thought, oh, I have to do that one. You don't need another start, but you have to do that one. So I bought it, and I was not, wasn't going to start it until I got my frame for the Stitchonomy one done. And since I got that done last night, then right before I went to bed, I went ahead and dug through my stash and found a piece of fabric. And I bought this fabric at Lost and Found Crafts in Olympia, Washington. I spoke about them last time. They are a reuse, recycle craft store. You donate your stuff if you don't want it anymore, but it's still useful, and you can go in and you can buy stuff that other people have donated. And this is a 36 count vintage country mocha. It is a screen print, I think. The back is not, it's not a die. This is printed on because the back is plain and the front has this really cool smoky texture on it. So I am going to attempt it on the 36 count. And 1/1 because I'm insane. I may regret that. You might see a different piece of fabric next month. They already have out the first two, which are Mothman and the Fresno Nightcrawler, which I grew up in California and I have not heard of the Fresno Nightcrawler, but then I'm not up on all the cryptids. I live in the Northwest now and we're like all Sasquatch all day. And, you know, I've watched the Mothman movies and the documentary and, you know, I know of like a few Jersey Devil and Chupacabra and a few other things like that, but I am super excited for this one, not just because it's a beautiful, beautiful frame and a beautiful stitch, but also because it's a learning opportunity about mysterious critters and other beings in the United States. So, and then these so far are the and black, which I'm going to use. These are all DMC. I'm going to use the Anchor Black just because we'll see. But I'm super looking forward to this one too. I mean, I know we're supposed to be excited about our projects. It's not supposed to be medicine, but I don't know. I'm excited. It's, you know, it's turning fall. Everything is starting to turn color a little bit, and we've had our break in the weather. And my Concord grapes are purple more than green right now, which I'm super excited about. I look forward, I kind of judge the seasons on my grapevine on the side of the house. So that is the next thing. And so next month, we should have lots and lots and lots of progress on this project and lots of project on my Stitchonomy Stitch Along. And that's everything I'm working on or been planning to work on. The rest of this is haul. I have not been to a stitching shop because, as you may remember, I don't have one in my area. I've got to drive a ways. This weekend I'm going up to one of my favorite craft stores in Tacoma. It's called Art Co. And I'm going to just do I try to go up every season and kind of just get a little inspiration fix. Walk around and see what they do. The people that work there are super creative, and they give them a lot of leeway in displays, which I think is so wonderful for a craft store to be willing to give up stock to let their employees make things to inspire you. I've worked for one craft store that let us do that years and years and years ago, and you know, it generates sales, but it also gets people super excited that work there, and you know, it makes you want to go back. And Artco still does that. It's you know, they've got really great displays and they've got really friendly employees, and I just usually plan on like not less than 3 hours in the store so I can see everything and look at everything and go back and relook at things. And I always take a lot of photographs to remind me, especially when I'm bought supplies to do things. So I should have some good haul next month. Hopefully good stitchery haul. I'm all in on these hoops. these plastic hoops. I know like this one is a Janlin. It's from Walmart. Obviously they're intending you to use it for display because they put a hook in there, but it unscrews. So we'll be, you know, if I wanted to use it for a project rather than a display thing. But I did my little zombie frog in a small version of the one that's available, the anchor one that's available at Michael's. If you haven't seen these yet, it's a grooved plastic frame with just this rope-like flexible, it does not stretch. You know, there's a little give so that way you can get around, and it just, you know, pops right in there. And honestly, I found that this was super snug. When I use a hoop like this little guy, I'm always fighting, you know, like I had like the screw creeps and the fabric creeps. I've tried that Clover one that has the, you know, it's got like a fitted groove in it, and I've had the same problems with that one where it's more meant for punch needle, so you're meant to be, you know, jabbing your fabric over and over again on it. But these guys, I mean, this first, like I put my fabric down and I rolled the rope onto it, and it was snug, and I didn't have to do more than just a tug to adjust it here and there. And then the whole time I was stitching it, I had no problem. It did not get loose. It didn't drag. I didn't catch my thread or my floss on the screw and then have to untangle it and potentially loosen it. I loved this. I thought I didn't like Q-snaps too, because I bought the brand that they sell at Michael's, and I don't know if it's the one that I bought or if it's just characteristic of that brand. But I found it was loose and it kept rolling, you know, the clippies. And I did go ahead and I got a real Q-snap, an original Q-snap. And I find that that's super snug, but there was a definite learning curve in getting the fabric in and getting it the way I wanted. If I ever show you earlier pictures of this, I had this in the Q-snap originally, and you can see my lines are like waving down the side because the fabric wasn't square in the Q-snap, because when I finally got it tight enough, I was just like, it's not moving. I don't care if it's a little wavy there. I'm keeping it just the way it is. So if you get a chance to try these out, I've not tried. I've seen them on Amazon too. I don't know what brand they are. I don't know if they're just the Anchor ones rebranded as bulk, or if they are a different, you know, a different brand, or maybe one that Anchor had these people make them for them and now they're selling them directly. But, you know, if you have the same troubles that I've always had with the screw hoops, but still like a hoop rather than working in hand, definitely, you know, give these a try. And they're cheap. They're not very expensive. And if you are a Michael's Rewards member, then you get that little 20% discount. Give them a try if you get a chance. So the last things I have are framing. I have been really inspired by the ladies at Steel City Stitchers and a couple other floss tubes, which they just have super clever frames and finishes for their projects. And I started thinking that search for the oval frame got me thinking, oh no, I'm never gonna be able to find a frame I want when I want it. So now I have that lookout eye where if I'm in a discount store or if I'm in a thrift shop, I'm kind of like looking at the frames and looking at things with that, like, could I use this as a finish? Could I maybe? So when I was at Target, they were putting out the Halloween and the fall seasonal stuff. And I found these beautiful little shadow box photo frames that are Dia de los Muertos, and they're sweet. And even if I don't use them for that, they are magnetic, which is super cool because that means they can go on the fridge, or they can go on, like, we have a van that has a metal dashboard. It could go on the metal part of the dashboard. Pretty much, you know, anywhere you got, if you got it like a right-on wipe-off board that's magnetic, they could go there. But I just thought these may be super cute for a future finish. And in the meantime, they can live on the refrigerator and not be in the way and hold up recipes. And then I was at Walmart. I had to duck into Walmart, and I thought, oh, maybe they've got their Halloween stuff out. Maybe they've got an oval frame with, like, you know, some spooky ghoul decor. And they did not have an oval frame, but they did have this guy. This one says it's good to be wicked, but they had a couple others. They had them with the brighter white and with a more of a gray curly Q. And I thought it was funny. To me, this looks like Hostess cupcake tops. So maybe I will need to find a project in the future that has cupcakes. And this one, the back doesn't pop out. It's a solid back. But I'll be able to mount something on chipboard and then lay it in, adhese it in. And the really cool things that I found are these frames, which are foop-de-foop, you know, they're frilly. And these, actually, you can unscrew them and pop out the board that has the sentiment. And those were, I don't know, I got really excited at those. So I am going to tuck those in a box. I think I'm going to start a little Rubbermaid tub that has just finishing things that I impulse buy that I probably shouldn't have, and store them. So hopefully sometime in the future you will see these guys with a very cool project in them. It's going to be a challenge because, you know, it's so swoopy. So fabric is going to have to be shaped and trimmed and nailed down with lots of tape. So that is everything I have. It's not a lot this month, but I as I said before, I made a lot of progress, and the things that I have made, I'm happy with. There are no hidden abandoned projects this month. There's one that I put aside with the octopus, but he's definitely still in play. And I guess that's it. Once again, thank you so much for watching and for sticking around. And I'm just really happy to be part of the community. And I'm really happy that you take time out of your day to listen to me. So I will see you next month.